Damn, mate. What are you doing?
Terry, I'm not doing it this week. You're f***ing incompetent.
All right, mate. I'll do it by myself.
Mother!
Welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport, onelittlefootyfan.com.au and the Stubby Club. Payback. It's been weeks and weeks.
It has.
And weeks. Good week of rugby league, Dan.
Great week of rugby league. Good for those that like points.
Points are plenty. The blowouts are back.
The blowouts are back. I've seen, of course, everyone's, Volandi's this, Volandi's that. No,
nothing to do with Volandi's.
This week we had a series of teams that are peaking to play finals and a fixture list that saw teams that don't give a rat's backside.
Yeah, look, injuries, suspensions, season coming to an end.
Teams being terrible.
Yeah, the Tigers
existing.
Your eyes on Bali. The teams that can't make the finals, they don't care.
They don't care. They spend their weeks, the video sessions on costume, shops trying to get some funny Mad Monday ideas rolling because some of those teams, you can't convince me, Terry, that there was 100% effort put into some of those performances.
No, I mean, and we'll talk about one game in particular later on in the show, but I was there to watch it. No atmosphere, fans didn't care. Blowouts aren't good. And especially when you get a succession of blowouts and, the first time ever 6 teams scored 40 points in a round.
Most points scored ever, I believe, broke this afternoon.
Yeah, it was good that there was a cracking game to kick off and a cracking game to finish.
Bookended it and just rubbish in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan, let's talk about the positives though, outside of the most points scored in that. What else do we have?
Look, the NRLW's back. 3 games across the weekend. Saw both grand finalists come out and send big statements. We're looking at Brisbane last night to make their first impression, but Newcastle said, not today. Recorded their first win in the club's history. Huge upset. Sunday night, good fun. Lots of points.
I mean, the Knights had to give their fans something.
They did. The blokes can't deliver. Maybe the ladies will, because that side, Gavin Badger, good mate of the show, said last night that they were his pick before the game. And we were like, I don't know about that. Eggs on our face.
Man, the young halfback, Jess Southwell, goes over, wins a Commonwealth Games gold in the sevens, only just gets allowed to play because she's 17 years old, scores a cracking try on debut, 140 metres, she was unreal.
2 try assists. Can you imagine her working into school tomorrow and being like, I'm the principal now.
Yes.
This is my school.
Go with your gold medal, your headgear, your jersey, and you're
what an effort.
You're the queen of it.
You know what, Terry? A little bit of, I feel a little bit guilty. So each game I watch with a little bit of a side project. So I'm recruiting for the Sharks in my head. I want this player, I want this player, I want this player. Kezi Apps is obviously number 1 on the list. Sergius, Maddie Studden looks like she'll sign for Cronulla. So there's a few players there, but follow us on Twitter because we'll be naming the sides we would recruit. No salary cap or knowledge of any of the deals or anything, but doesn't matter. It's all for fun.
No, it's our Cronulla dream team.
It certainly is.
Now, from the highs of rugby league to the lows of send-offs, we'll talk about Francis Molo first.
Let's talk about Francis Molo.
I'm glad the consistency's there.
It was a send-off.
Yeah, it was a send-off, absolutely. This day and age, it's a send-off. 5 years ago, it's barely a penalty.
Yeah, look, now we care about brain injuries and, people dying on the field.
Yeah.
This was a textbook send-off. Swinging arm to the chin, knocked the bloke out. Guy was in all sorts.
Not only that, though, he did his medial.
Are you serious? That is, I didn't know that. That's terrible. We make light of it, but look, he'll be lucky to see any football. Certainly not this year. He'll be missing games next year.
Cleaned up and did his knee. So, I'm glad. Again, Molo, showed the remorse straight away. Knew it was a send-off. The commentator straight away. Brandy was all over it.
So there he's gone. If that's 10 at very least, he had to go. Now, of course, the other send-off was James Tarmar. I want to get into this a little bit, but before I do, there was a send-off in New South Wales Cup. Shoulder charge. It was a vicious shoulder charge. And Mark Spud Carroll said, that's a great tackle. Why is that a penalty? Then they showed the replay and I was like, mate, are you serious?
Yeah, high, late, no arms wrapped.
No, it was It's assault. It was disgusting. But back to what we're here to talk about, and that is the NRL send-off for James Tarmar. This is a bloke with 300 games.
Yeah.
He's played for New Zealand, he's played for Australia. He was best on ground in the grand final. I don't care what anyone says. He's lost the plot, mate. He's unsigned next year. Now, last week, and I don't like to kick a guy when he's down, but I feel like James Tarmar, you know, he's held in a higher standing.
42 metres against the Sharks, like.
He watched Royce Hunt walk past him and left a 80-kilo ring and wet fullback to deal with Royce Hunt. Then this week, when they're down by 60, he turns around and abuses a referee. You've conceded 66 points at that time. I get you frustrated, but there's 12 other blokes wearing the same coloured jersey as you should be frustrated at. And the one person you should be most frustrated at is the bloke standing in the mirror. Because you're the captain and you've been sent off for abusing a ref when you're down by 60 points. To his credit, he did come out and cop to it. I think he realised. You see, as soon as it was you're up for 10, you're off, he went, let myself down. So he came out and apologised. Okay, good stuff. He's not going to see footy this year, and I would be shocked if he gets a contract.
I think, Tarmo's career now is heading to the ESL. The NRL, it's one of them players, the NRL's gone past him.
It has, yeah.
It has. And it's sad to see because he was the premier front row for a little while.
Fantastic player. And I'm not bagging him.
No.
I'm bagging that decision because it was dumb.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the Brandon Smith, where he got sent for 10, probably could have got sent off for what he said to the referee as well. But this came clear as day through the Fox microphone. You heard it, you laughed at it, and then Ben Cummins had no hesitation. You're off.
No, you're off.
Get out of here.
It came out of nowhere. Okay, they gave away about 8 penalties in a row. Someone had to sit down. It's 30 seconds to go. You're down by 60. Who cares? Yeah. Get in the shower. Thank you for sending me off so I don't get booed off with the rest of this rabble team. And he does that. The Tigers, mate. Oh, the Tigers.
Oh my God, the Tigers. Now, the Canberra Raiders keep their finals hopes alive. It was on life support at halftime.
I actually wrote for Zero Tackle. I had my intro written for my 20 thoughts. Make sure you check them out on zerotackle.com. That the top 8 was set. Came out in the second half, made me eat my words. I had to resubmit. Not good.
No, I mean, speaking of not good, whatever Adam O'Brien said at halftime, don't ever say it again. That first half from Newcastle was almost perfect. They were 15 from 15 in the completions at one time. Eddie Lee was having a field day. Dominic Young was having a field day. Anthony Milford was playing vintage footy. Yeah. Tex Hoy, for all the grief that he gets from Knights fans, he was playing really well. The forwards were doing their job. And in the second half, they were like, this game's done and dusted.
Let's party.
They ain't going to come back. And Josh Papali'i wound the clock back.
He did. He and Tarpany just absolutely dominated up the middle. Newcastle had no answers. Their fans were angry. I'm glad their women's team won yesterday afternoon because they would have left fuming and angry. Many did, unfortunately. They should have stuck around for the game that really counted. They switched off. Now, Dane Gagai got absolutely burnt by Sebastian Kris. Did make up for it later in that half. Absolutely one-on-one wiped him. Squared the ledge up. Late on, though, missed a shock and tackle. Then it was a horrible ball out to Edric Lee, who had no right to get that close. Yeah. Just an absolute abomination.
And of course, Sebastian Kris took the bomb uncontested.
Yeah.
So the Brisbane Broncos, though, they're now the team looking over their shoulder. Canberra 2 points behind them. There's not much on the for and against there because Brisbane got absolutely walloped. And Brisbane have a bit of a tough run home.
They've got a tougher run than the Raiders. The Raiders have got 2 gimmies. Brisbane may have blown this. Now, I don't think they'll lose both games. I think they'll scrape in. But this is a team 4 or 5 weeks ago. We're talking about, are they Smokies?
For the top 4.
They are making up the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely they are. Now, the top 4, the battle is incredible.
It is set in stone, Terry. The Sharks will finish second or third, with the Storm finishing 4th. There is no other way it'll happen.
There is. There's so many alternatives to this.
Done.
If the Cowboys lose to the Rabbits this week and the Storm win, the Storm go to 3rd. If the Storm lose and the Cowboys lose, then Parramatta beat the Broncos, which I think they will, then it's Parramatta versus Melbourne for the final 4th spot. I don't think Cronulla can drop out. I was pissing everyone off yesterday in the DM saying that they could. But this top 4, it's not locked in.
It's locked in. We'll go back to this moment in 2 weeks.
We can go back to it, and that's probably the top 4 now.
That's
but it's not locked in.
It's locked in. It's done.
Not.
Melbourne are back, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I want to avoid them at all costs. They certainly do, and that's going to show where both sides are at. I think the 4's set. I just think there's too much that has to happen for it to be, not technically, but mate.
Dan.
Talk to me, Terry.
It's Guru time.
Hey boys, thanks for having me on once again. What a week in the NRL. Point scoring records being broken left, right and centre. It was crazy. Not sure if it's the most points ever scored in a weekend, but it would have to be right up there with the very best of them. Sort of took us back to 2021 Rugby League, and we know how crazy that was. Now, James Tarmar, he got sent off for the West Tigers against the Sydney Roosters at the SCG, having a go at the ref, obviously. It's going to be very interesting to see what the NRL does with this one. Brandon Smith had a similar incident a couple of weeks ago. He got about 3 weeks from memory. Dane Gagai, he got sin bin the other day for kind of a similar situation. So it is sort of becoming a problem in the NRL. It should be noticed that last week, the NRL actually put out a video that featured Ben Cummins talking about the impact of this sort of stuff on referees. About an hour after it was posted, the NRL took it down. So I'm not quite sure what the storyline is there. But I'm very keen to see how the NRL handles this, because it's something that they do need to bite in the arse now before it does get out of control. It's just not a good look for our game. Jimmy's been a fantastic leader for a very long time, but he's got it very, very wrong on this occasion. He needs to be better than that. As frustrating as I'm sure it is being the West Tigers captain and whatnot, you have got to be better than this in those moments. Pressure still mounting on Desi Hasler from behind closed doors. I don't think it's getting the media attention that it probably should. A big loss to the Sharkies on the weekend. Your boys that are absolutely flying. I've got them making a grand final this year. I think they're going to really hit the ground running over the next few weeks. But yeah, Des Hasler under serious pressure, and there's a lot of disharmony reportedly in that squad as well. Yeah, it seems to me that jersey has been an absolute train wreck for this footy side and this franchise in general. So keep an eye on that situation. In other news, keep an eye on Team List Tuesday this week. I'm hearing that Jerome Luai, he could potentially return early against the New Zealand Warriors. So that would be huge for the left edge of the Penrith Panthers. They'll obviously get presented the JJ Gilton and Shield. I almost forgot the name of it for a second there. This weekend at Bluebet. So keep an eye on Jerome Luai. I believe he might come back a little bit earlier than what was expected. The other one is Bradman Best. Now, he was stood down this week for being late to a bus. The guy that came in and took his spot, the young fella on debut, the centre, he was very, very impressive. I'm hearing that Bradman Best will not walk straight back into this side. So an interesting one there. Things have gone from bad to worse for Newcastle, unfortunately. I thought they played all right yesterday. The first half was great. Second half just didn't come out of the sheds, unfortunately. But keep an eye on that situation. I'm hearing Bradman Best will not start in the centres for the Newcastle Knights this week. Thanks for having me on again, guys. Have a cracking week. Finals, not too far away.
Interesting mail, always on. I don't think he's ever been wrong. Something we can't say about ourselves, but Guru. Speaking of never wrong, asterisks, Cowboy Kate, our good friend from the north, is joining us. I hear she has some interesting talking points. Kate?
Hey Dan and Terry, I hope you are both well. Well, what a ridiculous weekend of footy we've seen. I mean, what on earth happened this week? Has there ever been a round where this many points has been scored? I'm not sure, but the Cowboys still have their nose in front in second spot. But honestly, the way the ladder looks, the Sharkies or the Storm could finish in second, and it makes for an exciting fortnight ahead, that is for sure. It was a thrilling weekend in footy, mostly because the NRLW has now started. I can't tell you how excited I am for 2023 when the new teams join this comp, and of course, the Cowboys in particular. It's going to be fantastic. So far, I like the look of the Roosters and the Dragons. And let me just give a little shout out to Emma Tonagato from the Dragons, who was incredible for her side in their win against the Titans. It's easy to see why she is the current Dally M medalist. To beat the Dragons this year, teams are going to have to nullify her, and good luck with that. I'm looking forward to keeping a close eye on how this comp plays out. I think there's going to be some big performances for season 2022. On to the Cowboys. Well, we've been on the road for 3 weeks, and it has seemed like a long and crappy 3 weeks away from home. So I'm sure the players were happy to be back in front of their fans at Queensland Country Bank Stadium for some Friday night footy. Of course, being the first game back at home, it was the moment for the club and the team to show their thanks and to remember Paul Green, and they did just that. There was a lovely memorial on the big screen before the kickoff, And there was also a minute's silence before the game, and Cowboys fans who attended said that you could have literally heard a pin drop. The ground announcer only breaking the silence with yelling, "Once a Cowboy, always a Cowboy." And that pretty much sums up how Cowboys fans feel. Then at the 15-minute mark, the crowd rose to their feet and honoured Green with a standing ovation. Cowboys fan Brody Phillips was kind enough to send me through the footage of that moment, which gave me chills as I stood in Sydney in my lounge room to be part of that special tribute. This was the game the Cowboys wanted to win. We heard they spoke in the sheds before the game about the occasion and that they wanted to turn it on in Townsville. It was one of the biggest score lines for the weekend and probably could have been even bigger, but we did bomb a few tries towards the end of the match. Coach Todd Payton said they spoke this week about paying the price. And what he meant by that was being physical for the 80 minutes and putting their bodies on the line to get the win. Now, they didn't do that last week against the Roosters. They were taught a lesson in intensity and brute physicality. It was hard to blame them, though, after the few days prior to that game that they and the club had been through. This week, however, it was in defence again that the team stood out, allowing their opponents, the New Zealand Warriors, only 4 points. The Cowboys with the least points scored against them this week. The Cowboys went on to win 48-4, which seemed like a big scoreline at the time. However, the Storm and the Roosters certainly had something to say about that. On the Warriors, can I just say that they're a team that I feel like all NRL fans really need to get behind. I, for one, hope they kick ass in 2023. They've had a rough couple of years away from home. I do hope that next year they don't have to do much travel and they can make Mount Smart a fortress again. They didn't look great against the Cowboys on Friday night, and though they tried to stay in touch in the first half, they simply couldn't compete in the second 40, which has been the same for a number of teams this year and something the Cowboys weren't able to do last year. So I get how frustrating it is to watch, but I hope the Warriors fans hang in there with their team and that 2023 sees some good fortune come their way. They've got some good signings for next year, so we'll have to wait and see. Now, look, Dan and Terry, I have held off having this chat, but I'm busting it out this week because I simply can't hold it in any longer. I've got one name for you, Chad Townsend, or Chad Townsville, as we now like to call him. Now, before you cut this piece out of the show, hear me out.
Nah!
Whatever your beef is with the bloke and whatever he did or did not do for the Sharks is none of my business. All I know is that Chad is exactly what we needed up north. A genuine 7 is hard to come by, and when Morgo had to retire, we were in big trouble. For the record, I don't think Morgo should have been our incumbent number 7. I think he should have remained our number 6, but that is a story for another time. But I do think it points to just how important a genuine 7 is. Chad has come up north and excelled at everything that Payton has asked of him. He hasn't overplayed his hand, and he has, for a lack of a better metaphor, steadied the ship. He sits second on the stats ladder for try assists, and in the game against the Warriors went over for his second try of the season. But it's not on the stats pages that you'll see Chad shine for the Cowboys. It's in the effort that he puts in, it's in the huddle, and it's in the way he plays the game. He does his job so well that everyone else can just focus and do theirs. He has become an instant leader in this team, and that is because he is walking his talk on the field. I imagine it would be hard to come into a team, be given a leadership role before you've even played a game in the jersey, and on top of that, have your team buy into what you are asking them to do. But to his credit, Chad has been able to come in and do it seamlessly. Most importantly, he gives this team confidence. And the person who's enjoyed that stable confidence the most is Tommy Dearden. He was a broken young kid when he got to the Cowboys. He had zero confidence in his game or in himself. Lining up next to Chad each week and having him as a mentor has brought out the best in Dearden. It is not a coincidence he's having a breakout year. And as this halves combination grows for the Cowboys, I think fans have a lot to look forward to. On Monday night at 7:30 on Fox, Jake Duke sits down to talk to Townsend about his move to the Cowboys. And I think this would be an interview worth watching for any NRL fan. I, for one, will be tuning in. I want to hear what he has to say. Some players fit better with certain clubs than others do. And boys, you can say what you want about Chatty Townsville, but at the start of the season, the experts all believed that the Cowboys were destined for the wooden spoon in 2022. Well, we've held on to second on the ladder for about a month now, and while I am no good at maths, I don't think we can finish any lower than fourth before the finals start. That is a massive turnaround for a team who has not played finals footy since 2017 and who finished 15th on the ladder in 2021. And personally, I think Chad has a lot to do with that. Until next week, talk soon.
Look, thanks, Kate. Thanks, Kate. I understand, Terry, that there is a hit piece about to be aired on Fox Sports tonight about us. Yeah. Sir Chad of Townsend is going to go on and say that some people doubted him. Some people wanted him gone from the club and weren't sure why he was going to go to the Cowboys. Number one and number two right here. I make no apologies for such. No, I just want to get on record that we wish him no ill. Nope. We don't tag him as some people do. Stop it. No, we're all glad he's doing well at the Cowboys because we've, moved him on. He was playing reserve grade, let's not forget at the time, and we signed a pretty handy replacement, would you say, Terry?
Yeah, new favourite for the Dalian medal, Nicho Hines. He's our halfback now. Look, wish Chad all the best. Wish he'd left 3 years before than he did. He's the Cowboys' problem there.
Terry.
Talk to me, Dan.
Time to talk some black, white, and what hoodoo.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, thanks so much.
I absolutely like it. Look,
what hoodoo, Terry?
There wasn't one.
No, it's none. How long's it been since we beat them? About 48 hours?
Yeah, 13 years at Brookvale. They get an asterisk on that because we beat them in 2020 on the Central Coast, but it was their home game.
That's true, and we did beat them as the Northern Eagles. I just want to put that out there. I know it doesn't count, but I just want it on record that we beat them as the Northern Eagles.
Look, fantastic game from Cronulla. Again, you sit there thinking, are we going to get an 80-minute performance? If we had nilled them, it would have been an 80-minute performance.
I want to talk about that, actually, because it was a shame we conceded. We deserved to nil them. We deserved to shut them out. Bad pass from Trindle. Shocker. He knew as soon as he threw it. He turned and chased like there was no tomorrow. Yeah. Ikavalu chased. Yeah. Nicho Hines chased, and there was one or two others. Yeah. And when he scored, all of them threw their hands up and were like, they wanted to nil that team. That shows where we're at. A couple of years ago, whatever we beat Manly, who cares? 30-28 is fantastic. They wanted to keep those scrubs to nil, and I love that reaction. Yeah. That means just as much as the 2 points.
If anyone from Manly deserved to try, though, it was Daly Cherry Evans. He tried his heart out. He was their best player by far. He was the only reason that we didn't have set upon set on because he just kicked him out of trouble.
He did. Big night for the old Sharkies.
But my God, what a performance! Under strength, missing 6 or 7 key players. I know Manly were as well. I was having a debate with some Manly fans about the injuries. They said that we were healthy. That was our third string fullback, our third string centre, our third fourth string winger. We got Moylan back, but a couple of years ago you were going, Moylan's playing. Yeah. Now you're like, Moylan's playing, Our front row just absolutely took it to them. Like Helen and Hunt, the opening 15 minutes of that game was just something out of a horror movie from Manly. I want to point out just before, and I made a tweet about it, but the Manly ground announcers, they pulled up some key battles. Now, obviously they're paid employees in Manly, so they have to go on record, but they said that Manly were going to cause the upset. Yeah. And the first battle that they had was their fullback Cooler against Lockie Miller. Yep. And they said, Cooler's played all year. He's in the running for Rookie of the Year. Lockie Miller hasn't done anything. Cooler's the better fullback. They then brought up the battle of the 5'8" between Kieran Foran and Moylan. And they talked about Kieran Foran and how he was an international and how... And they said that Kieran Foran was playing better than Matt Moylan this year.
Oh, stop it.
Now, then they brought up the halfback.
No, they didn't bring up the halfback.
They said Cherry Evans has got the advantage. His kicking is better than Nicho Hines. His defence is better than Nicho Hines. Then they brought up Ola Kawatu against Britton Nakora. And they said this is nothing but a Manly win. And at half time, they were like, where do we go from here?
They lost all 4 battles.
Yeah. Oh, Cronulla didn't lose a battle.
No, we didn't lose a 1-on-1 across. Lockie Miller was breathtakingly good. Yeah. That bloke refuses to get tackled. There's, the person behind the camera may or may not have suggested there's a bit of the old Tedesco's about him. The way he breaks tackle, the way he finds a break, he refuses to get tackled. The guy's so quick.
I just want to... Mate Cavallo as well. Ooh. 235 metres, 2 tries, didn't let anyone down, safe as houses. But he loves those tough carries.
Yeah, he does.
And he's not tall.
No, he doesn't need to be.
He's absolutely, in terms of wingers, he's tiny.
Yeah, he's not a big guy by any stretch, but he plays big. He won his one-on-one battle.
We won all the one-on-one battles,
we did.
It's just, Now, Dan, just a little bit of interesting trivia, but it's 17 seasons since we had back-to-back wins over Manly.
That's incredible.
That's incredible. Hoodoo's done. We're going to win the next 30 at Brookvale now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It'll be two years in a row next year. That's not even worried about. I hope we get him in round 2, because not round 1. I hate round 1, round 2. But can we please talk about Nicho Hynes?
What is there left to say?
So much. So much. Mainly that I love you and please don't ever leave me.
Just when you think you've seen it all from Nicho, he does something else. That pass, 20-metre spiral, the wrong side.
Yeah, left to right, yeah.
And just read the play so well. When he threw that pass, I was like, that Manly wing is going to get in. Oh, no. He's untouched.
The Fox Sports commentary, and I hope we don't get copyright flagged this, was, oh.
It was, I went home and watched the replay, obviously, because I'm a nerd for it. But that pass and his support play, we always talk about Cronulla fullbacks and their lack of support play since Ben Barber, but Nicho Hynes' support play. Fafita had no right to get that ball.
No, absolutely not.
Had absolutely no right to get the ball. Hynes is just there,
He plays as a second fullback. I just want to go on record and say there were some people that said he couldn't play halfback, that he couldn't play outside the Melbourne system.
I've got to say this though, going into the season, I thought he was going to be the 6. Yeah, I thought he was going to be the 6, and I thought Tricky Trindle was going to be the 7.
Fair.
But Moylan, oh my God, if ever we can just give 10 seconds to a guy, you just see the difference. Yes, we're sport for choice with Braden Trindle being our next cab off the rank, and us and Penrith have got the best halves depth.
Oh, absolutely, undisputed.
Into the finals now if someone's injured. But having Moylan back, you can just see Hynes has got so much more time.
He certainly does. He just can do what he does. But that Moylan try, that was vintage Moylan. The step, see you later, slams the ball through the earth.
And then tells Sutton...
The referee goes, nah, and Moylan goes, yeah. And then one look's all it took. So, pretty good night, I dare say. Yeah. Pretty good afternoon, in fact.
Absolutely. Now, 4-0 against our rivals, the Dragons and the Seagulls this year. The Newtown Jets had an incredible win. Not enough on the points differential, though. If we do slip up, we have to win.
Yeah, we do. Now, those that don't watch New South Wales Cup, a loss this weekend means we finish second.
Yeah.
Penrith have a bye, so they get an automatic 2 points, and they're far superior. Now, they didn't win this weekend. They had a draw. They scored with 3 minutes to go. So our tactical draw has been responded with a tactical draw. Mm-hmm. So it's all to play for this week. Henson Park, 5:30. NRL.com, I believe, or NRL New South Wales Rugby League. Whatever. Follow me on Twitter. I'll send it out. I don't care what the 3 o'clock game is this week. It doesn't matter. Everyone should be watching Newtown beat the Doggies and wrap up the minor premiership. And we go from there.
Franklin Pele, again, just a human highlight reel. Another 70-metre try. He was enormous. Kailiro, again, people asked who I thought the best players were. It's the usual suspects, the NRL players who are knocking on the door, but I just want to give a huge shout out to our back rowers, Kane Kalishi and Charbel Tassipe. These guys here, these are the types of players that you're going to see Craig Bellamy, turn into superstars in the future. So they've got a big future, but you're right, 3 o'clock. I'll be able to catch the Newtown Jets game before something is happening.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'll be able to catch the Jets game. I'm going to miss the Sharks game. Hope that's not too much.
You'll hear me yelling. It's okay.
I'll hear it. Yeah. But look, get behind us. We're going to play finals in all 3 grades. Mm-hmm. And I do believe that it's only us and Penrith that are going to do that in the New South Wales. Parramatta. Parramatta will as well.
Yeah, but we'll go through the second round, Parramatta, won't we?
Dan,
talk to me, Terry.
It's time for some top sport tips. My favourite time of the week. Now, for you viewers out there, I don't know if you got on my tip of the week last week. But I picked the Sydney Roosters with a 15.5 head start against the clock. And the Roosters, they came home.
They did it easy.
They came home with a wet sail.
Flogged them.
Wet
So
sail.
the Tigers once again have been reduced to a meme.
Absolutely they have. Now, let's get into some footy because this is a big round for the top 4, the top 8.
Bottom 2.
Yeah, the bottom 2 as well, absolutely. Thursday night footy, we're spoilt this week. This is a cracking game up in Suncorp Stadium. The Brisbane Broncos are taking on the Parramatta Eels. Mitch Moses, I don't know if you heard, played with a broken finger and a finger guard on the weekend. That's all we heard about.
Certainly did hear that.
Jeez, he looked incredible.
He looked very good. And he makes Dylan Brown look even better than Dylan Brown actually is.
And Dylan Brown was insane. And because of that, and the way that the Parramatta forward pack's just going, Sean Lane has turned himself into the best back row in the competition in the last month. I'm going to pick the Eels to beat the Broncos.
I'm going to go Brisbane purely because I think they're due. They have been arguably one of the worst teams in the competition across the last 4 weeks. And this is a team that, again, we're talking about top 4 hopefuls.
Yeah, Smokies.
Smokies, a couple of weeks ago. Adam Reynolds just fallen off a cliff. The
pressure's getting to Ezra Mam.
It is. As it will with rookie halves. I completely get it. They're at home on Thursday.
Yeah,
that'll be enough.
I feel Parramatta's forward. I mean, it wasn't enough against Melbourne. I feel Parramatta's forward pack are going to be able to. They can't replicate what Melbourne did, but they can follow the same game plan.
That's very
I'm going to pick Parramatta to win this game, and Parramatta have got more to play for. Like, yeah, Brisbane are fighting for dear life. Parramatta want that top 4 spot. They called it at the beginning of the year. They said they were one of the best 4 teams in the comp. They're out to prove
Trying to prove it. I disagree.
Good. 6 o'clock at the foot of the mountains, the Penrith Panthers, congratulations, will be able to celebrate with the JJ Giltingham Shield. They're playing against the New Zealand Warriors. This should just be fait accompli. Turn up, dust them off, do the victory lap with your fans, boost your for and against, even though you don't need it.
No, they don't need it.
No.
They'll get it, though.
They will.
Because this Warriors team has...
Yeah, they haven't had much to do, play for, etc. But yeah, look, I think it's
all about next year. They're waiting for a coach. They're waiting for some star players like Luke Metcalf. 40 nil.
And I mean, you want to talk about sport again? Friday night footy, Amy Park. 2 of the red hot teams of the competition at the moment. The Melbourne Storm with their players back against the Sydney Roosters, form team of the competition at the moment. I heard someone turn around and say, look, if you fancy a punt, the Roosters are $15 to win the comp.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that is ridiculous.
That is absolutely ridiculous on there. Now, I don't like them to win the comp because it's the Sydney Roosters, but they're finding form at the right time. Matt Lodge has made a huge difference to this Roosters pack. Terrell May, obviously, as well, coming in, forced himself into the team now. Nat Butcher is just insane.
A couple of weeks ago, I said he's a smoky for the Aussie squad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it wasn't laughed at because it's a great take, but a few people are like, there's a few ahead. Name them.
Yeah. But it's Melbourne, in Melbourne. It's Jerome Hughes. It's Cam Munster. It's Harry Grant. It's 2 points for the Melbourne Storm.
I disagree again. It is the Tricolours. They are the form team. I said earlier that the top 4 is set. I still believe it is, but it will be dragged into the final week, courtesy of the Roosters.
Super Saturday down there in GIO Stadium at Canberra. The Raiders season. It's all or nothing. It's the Manly Seagulls. From what I saw from Manly on Saturday night, they've checked out. They're gone. I'm picking the Raiders in this one quite convincingly.
I'm picking Newtown to beat the Dogs and wrap up the minor premiership, the New South Wales Cup. I don't care about this game, but Canberra by plenty. And it's nothing less than what the Seagulls deserve, just quietly.
Yeah, and now this is where it comes into play as well, because if the Broncos lose, and I suspect they will, and they get touched up, and the Raiders, they can bring the for and against into it, which would knock... You know, the Raiders have got all to play for. If they bring that second half against Newcastle, to the game against Manly, they're going to flog them.
I don't think Manly have the spirit that Newcastle showed either. They won't have their home crowd. I think this will be huge.
Now, speaking of huge, 5:30 on Saturday afternoon, the Cronulla Sharks are taking on the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Not the Dogs that we've seen the last couple of weeks. I think now that peskiness of them, Mick Potter has... his game plan's been figured out. The forward pack just isn't going there anymore. Paul Vaughan is liking a lot of tweets about Warrington as well, so I don't think his head's in the game.
No,
anymore.
he's out. He's checked out. I don't blame him. Look, the Fox was absolutely done dirty this week. He had just one of the worst games of his career, to be honest. Like, I don't like saying that because one of my all-time favourite players. I think Cronulla need to do what was done to them this week and run 40 by him.
Yeah, look, it's one of them games again. I don't care if we win by 40 or we win by 2. 2 points is 2 points in that battle, and that will just about lock in the top 3 spot there. I'm going to go with the hoodoo, with the jinx. Come on, doggies.
Cronulla for me.
And 7 o'clock, like this is a super Saturday. The Rabbitohs against the North Queensland Cowboys. Now, the Rabbitohs played dreadfully and almost stole it.
It's pretty handy opposition, Penrith.
The Cowboys didn't really get challenged by the Warriors. They were up there in Townsville, absolutely ran riot. The Warriors don't have a forward pack like the Rabbitohs do.
No.
Latrell Mitchell, I mean, yes, he missed his goal kicks, but he was still outstanding. Cody Walker's got a little bit of form as well. He needs to bring that fire in there.
Murray, Colin
On this note here, I'm going to pick the Rabbitohs to cause the upset.
Yeah, me too. I'm backing you 100% here. I think the Bunnies will be filthy that they let that opportunity go. Their top 4 chances are gone now. They had it all to play for.
Yeah.
It was set up. Penrith didn't have their superstars. It looked for a long time that they were going to get there. Liam Martin just couldn't score to save himself. Of course, he scores a try that wins the game in the minor premiership just to make me look stupid. That's beside the point. Bunnies.
Yeah, what's really concerning for the Bunnies, just before this game as well, is they've had 2 big tests in the last month.
They lost them both.
And they've lost them both, so they can't go 0-3 in these tests. They'll beat the Cowboys. Put your money on it.
And set up a super last weekend of football too.
Absolutely. Now, your Sunday afternoon footy, maybe avoid it. Maybe avoid Sunday afternoon footy.
We're still talking?
We're still talking about it. I don't really know if you want to. But 2 o'clock, I don't even know where they're playing because they've got 8 home grounds. But the West Tigers are up against another team with multiple home grounds in the St George Illawarra Dragons.
The merged derby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, you give a shout out to big fans of the show, Lockie and Burjo. Good luck to you both. It's going to be a fun week in their household. Everyone else, though, is going to be like, we don't have to watch football till 4 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah, look.
Who are you tipping, though? Very important game.
Look, they were so bad on the weekend. I don't think they can go any worse. I'm going to go the Tigers in an upset. And 4 o'clock, Sunday afternoon, Dan, your Gold Coast Titans.
Who are the Titans playing?
They're playing the Knights.
Ooh. We might win one for once.
Nah, I'm going to pick the Knights.
I'm going to tip the Titans. I'm feeling good. I tipped them last week and, with 15 minutes to go, down by 4, players sent off, all good, all to play for, concede 3 tries.
But they're just setting up the wooden spoon battle.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. Titans.
Go the Knights. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws brought to you by Punctured Media, our good friends at Top Sport, onelittlefootyfan.com.au and the Stubby Club. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Buy some stuff.
Shop for all your merchandise, our shirts, flying out the window, sold out at the moment, I believe.
You have to
reorder. Coming in now, the hoodies, the hats, give your mum the FU from Dan.
Now Terry, I heard a rumour
that
you're not going to be here next week.
No, I am not.
So on that note, Rugby League, baby!